to say that despite, tell that it's not a good idea to go onto Facebook, that he opened up an account and he went onto Facebook. He actually put a photograph on and enough details about his birth family for them to recognise him. Yeah. So
he put details on about us?
No, he put enough details about himself.
All right.
And about his family, because obviously, let me say something about.
Sorry, which family is this?
His birth family.
Really?
Because children who are adopted, it's no secret about their birth family.
Yeah.
So he would have known mom's name. Obviously, there's letterbox contact.
Yeah.
So information does come in.
Yeah.
And there is a life story book, later life letter, and other information that children who are adopted have access to.
Yeah.
It's called open adoption.
Yeah, we encourage adopters to be open.
Open adoption, right?
That's what it's called. They would have spoken to you about it.
Open in terms of knowledge.
In terms of knowing about his birth history. So
it's an open adoption regards.
All adoptions are.
They're not open regards to contact.
But
in terms of knowledge.
That's what we call it, open adoption.
It's not because
knowledge of the history, who the parents are. He would have had names of his parents, grandparents, if he has any siblings. Also photographs.
Is that first names and last names?
It may depend on the adopter.
Yeah, it depends on the adopter, because depending on the child's sort of understanding and so on. I mean, obviously they know they're adopted. Yeah, that's not something we try to hide. To say, adopters say, "Oh, this is my child." The child knows that they're adopted when they actually, are living with parents. Adopted parents, they know they're adopted. Well, when they reach a certain age, they're allowed to. But you see, it's new now, isn't it? Before it was difficult. Now it's the social media.
Yeah.
So children will have access to it, mobile phones, or computers.
Yeah.
We do have a problem with Facebook now, and the social media, because children will go on and search. I was told by his adoptive parents.
So you've been told not
to go on to Facebook.
Yeah.
And I think I know he's actually done that. He recently joined Facebook. I found that he had not only put his full name, but also a picture of himself and enough information for any of his birth family to easily find him. So obviously, he will go on and so. I don't know exactly what he's put, but it says enough information for birth family to actually be able to identify that it's him.
So if he's put information about his birth family, is he trying to find us?
He's probably curious. A lot of children may be curious, and that may be one of the ways that he's showing it. It may be that, but equally it can be difficult for the placement that he's in now, for managing that for his adopters, for him, and to make him feel secure. It's a balance with giving children enough information so that they understand where they're from, but also for the adoptive parents and for them to be able to live as a family without too much disruption. So it's sort of a balance that everybody tries to make, especially through the teenage years, as you can imagine, the young teenage years. A lot of change for young people in terms of sort of hormones, wanting to know where they are, pushing limits, pushing boundaries, all the sorts of things that go on with young people, and it can be a bit turbulent for them. So it's a case of making sure that the balance is right in the family as it is now.
So what will be staying there for cancer?
Were you ever counselled regarding adoption? What it entails and so on?
No, I wasn't, and I'll be honest, I'll tell you all. The council have perverted the course of justice. I've got the evidence. I've been letter writing for some years. They've clearly perverted the course of justice with my case. And I am a woman of my word, I would not lie.
Right, I looked at your profile. There was information from yourself, well, on your profile.
Yeah.
And really, I can read it, to be exact, because again, I don't want it to be just...
I haven't got anything to hide, but I put on my profile, I do expose what's happening to these thousands of children. And I really believe I believe it's necessary in some cases with children, but at the end of the day, my son's arm was broken by his dad. I've never seen the evidence if it's deliberate or not. I don't see if that's deliberate or not. And all I did was have a breakdown.
So did you put anything on your profile that could potentially be damaging if you clean them? Because, as far as I know, there was a picture of you.
Nobody can see. I've got my wall closed left.
Yeah, the reason why we're here is because it can be quite damaging if a child, see information about certain things. Because I know it wasn't just, say, a picture of yourself, and I believe it was during the final contact.
We'll order that rather than have photos around the house of those, but I can't handle having them about necessarily, so that's how I handle it.
But in terms of putting, sort of misleading information on,
misleading information
regarding, saying fraud.
That's not misleading. Perverting the course of justice is fraud.
Okay. And also, previously in 2010, websites about him being kidnapped. I mean, that's caused a lot of trouble, you see, and that's why we felt the need to come out again. Because even though at the time, the adoption service said no to photographs, because you used to have updated photographs.
Sorry, what was that information you called? Misleading information?
That's he's kidnapped.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, I mean, if a child is adopted and then they look on and they see...
Put my walls closed.
They see that they're, that potentially they've been kidnapped. It doesn't help with their... Do you know what I mean?
It's actually
quite disruptive.
Illegally kidnapped. I was told that it was legally we refer to it as illegally kidnapped now.
Can't, in terms of your letterbox contact, we can't be sure that the adopter won't decide not to continue with it, because it will be up to her to decide, because it's potentially disruptive to her relationship with, because that sort of thing would cause the sort of damage to his adopters, and also to the placement. It could potentially break down, which isn't good for. Wouldn't be good for him to, at this time, he's 13 now, for it to break down, or for him to move to somewhere where he's been for so long. But they do have behavioural problems when they find things like this. If you feel that you've been kidnapped and parents are looking for you, obviously it's going to cause problems in onto Facebook and to see that his family is searching. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he's actually seen the profile, but it's there if he was to decide to sort of get that far. What he's actually got, what he's actually done, is put a picture of himself on Facebook and enough information about himself.
But
for his family to recognise that's him. Your profile. When did you last update your profile?
Well, I've got a picture up in the background now about something about us being human incubators. A picture of us
Okay. Well, the fact that on your
and
Facebook account, the fact that has been on Facebook. Now the carers have to what do you call it?
Stop it.
Prevent him, ban his account or something.
Yeah.
But actually cancel his account, take his mobile off him, and so on. Because sooner or later he would see that profile, wouldn't he? If he's going on and he knows who mum is, he will he would eventually,
How does
if
he
he
feel
hasn't
about
seen
that?
it. If he hasn't seen it before or already, he will eventually see
We get
it.
social workers for on our Facebook.
He-
A lot of people on Facebook say if no contact could be stopped, is everybody else's contact going to be stopped who's got birth children on Facebook?
Well, we don't know
We
that
don't
the
know,
contact
not
is
sure.
going to be shut. What we're
Not
saying is
that
there
I
is
wish that on them, you
It's
know.
up, has been on.
right,
I've just said he's been on,
right,
and he's put enough information on.
yeah,
So he's obviously tracing. He's trying to trace or trying to find
right.
his birth family.
So it will be more useful to let him have that contact. Because he's got rights, especially age 13, he's got the rights to his own solicitor if he wanted to.
When he's 16,
But nobody would have told him that, will they?
when
they're
he's 16,
13,
when
they've
he's
got the
16,
rights.
he's able to look for a birth family when he's 16.
Yeah, to
So-
express he can express his wishes, and if his adopters will support him in that,
Yeah,
then he can make some moves to have some
Yeah.
contact
So he wanted
with
to
you.
write to me.
Yeah, adopted. To be perfectly honest, I don't know,
Mm.
but it does tend to
He
delay.
was
when
nearly 6, so he'll remember
Yeah.
us.
I mean, yes, I'm sure he will. He'll definitely have some memory, but it does affect their emotional ability to cope with things sometimes.
I'm not surprised.
We do find that a lot of adopted children are younger than their age in terms of, younger than their chronological age in emotional maturity. So they can't always cope. They see things and they want to know things, which is fine. And I think that, I think it's right that adopters should be very open about things. But they can't always cope as well as a child of a similar age. So although he may be 13, he's probably a lot younger than that emotionally, because there's a delay in catching up because of the experiences that he's gone through, the change, the loss, separation, that does affect a child.
Is it having this? What's it doing to him emotionally?
Well, I mean,
Well, it's what would that sort of thing do to a child? Really, it's not.
What would what do?
It's not a good thing. Some of them have absconded from home. Emotional problems, behavioural problems at school. They tend not to do so good at school. Lack of friendship. Adopted children do have attachment problems anyway, even when they don't have much disruption, let's say.
And that's from finding birth parents that they've absconded and that.
Well, no,
Yeah,
not necessarily.
not
Just
necessarily.
generally, we're just saying
It's one of
generally
the-
that young people who
Yeah.
have been through difficult early starts or lots of change or lots of separation, tend to be emotionally younger than their peers, but want what their peers are doing, but can't cope with it as well, sadly. And it does lead to behavioural difficulties in school occasionally. I'm not privy to that.
But it has led to
Yeah.
absconding.
Yeah, and
Because
it does lead to things, like running away and difficulties because they're trying to come to terms with the life they're living now, their early life history, who they are really, and that's quite hard, isn't it? As you can imagine for a 13-year-old, who's had a different early life history, probably to a lot of his peers. So it does affect emotional development. Well, I think what we're trying to say is that at the moment, obviously, he's going through hormonal changes as well as this
Oh, yeah.
as a teenager, and you know what it's like being a teenager. You want to challenge everything, but he's younger than emotionally probably than his peers, so it's even harder for him. So I think what the adopters want it to be is as stable as possible, and what they're fearful of is coming across information on Facebook or any other social media sites. There's the fear of a lot of adopters that may upset the apple cart in terms of his behaviour and in terms of their relationship at a crucial stage in his development.
Because I was always led to believe that everything was honky-dory.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that there's huge issues. I'm just talking generally at the moment about what we find as as an adoption service with adopters. That there are very often difficulties, particularly at teenagers. I mean, most parents have trials and tribulations with their teenage children,
We have not had any
you know,
report of any difficulties.
I mean, but they are at more risk than the average.
So really, can you be honest on this? Is this contact going to be stopped?
I don't know. We fearful that it may be. We're trying to work our way through it. But what we wanted to say, obviously, is regarding the Facebook, that things put on your page, you say they can't be accessed. We're under the impression that it has been accessed, and that there are things there are things. I can't comment on that, I'm afraid. But there are things on.
We know the FRO requests and things on it, so we know it goes well.
Yeah. But things saying that he's been kidnapped, or things like, obviously that it's a fraud, and that cross that on Facebook, or to actually actively seek it on Facebook, will be very, very unsettling for him.
Would you think it would be more unsettling for him to know that now, or for him to know that in later years?
He is going to grow up.
Yeah,
and
he will. And at 18, he can have access to his files, and obviously, if he wishes to access you.
If he finds out this when he's 18, wouldn't that be more emotionally damaging? Isn't it better for him to know now?
Well, I don't know, because hopefully you'll be more mature in terms of things, more able to come to terms with whatever is written in the files, and whatever is said to him, that he will be in a better place. But at the moment he's still a child. 18, he's deemed an adult, even if he's not emotionally quite there yet. So it's much harder now for him to, what we want him to be stable, settled, and to get through the rest of his teenage years in a stable environment without as much upset as possible. I'm sure you want that. Yeah, of course you do. And that's what we're all aiming for, really. But obviously, if the adopters see things on Facebook that they feel find that, information, and how unsettling it could be for him, especially, he's coming up to all the times when he's doing exams, as well as the hormones, the definite, pushing the boundaries at home, as he will do.
I can say this very more.
We don't know whether he's found or not. All we know is that it has been found. Something has been found, and it's shown a picture of and documents that have been posted saying about fraud.
During the final contact, when you had that final contact with him, apparently.
Well, I'm actually glad that the truth out that the fraud's been spotted. Because I'd never go on there and tell any always.
So all this, I don't mean to be, but you seem to be willing to sacrifice your contact with him, sort of in a legal way where you get news.
Well, what do you propose or do? Shut my Facebook down? Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm saying about the information that you put on. Of course, you should have your Facebook. I'm not going to say that.
No, it's my life now. Helping other families is my life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've had a big, massive injustice done to me.
Yeah.
So my life now is to help other families and get the word out. Under Clayton versus Clayton ruling, I can talk about my case and anybody involved in it now, because my case is over. I've got rights as well. I'm very upset. I've been having nightmares since she contacted me because she wouldn't tell me on the phone what it was. And I just feel this is nothing that couldn't have been said over the phone.
Well,
but it's a ruin my first Christmas.
Well, you've got a chance to speak back to us.
When we spoke, you told me that you was coming out for half a day.
Yes.
Before Christmas. Now, what's changed?
It's more. No, we've talked. It's been
about half an hour. A couple of hours.
We wanted you to have an opportunity to discuss it face to face with us.
I can't remember saying half a day. It could be sometimes I'm on the phone and half a day, half an hour. Could be just.
Well, can I ask you about this as well? Now I had a verbal apology. You've asked for a written apology.
Yes,
but you said that I would get
I verbally apologised to you.
But you did say that I'd get a written apology, so where's that? Please.
I've apologised to you, and I don't see why it should be in writing. It was only a of cases, and I've
Because
done it before
I would
where
like it in writing.
I've handled a lot of cases. I've been in children's. I've had 20 odd cases, 30 odd cases, and sometimes I've written things.
But if we make
And
a
I've
mistake, we're
and you
held
make a
accountable.
simple mistake with a name,
It's,
and that's it.
but it's still a mistake, so where's my written apology?
Oh, please, I did apologise to you verbally.
Well,
But it
I
was
would,
the
I
wrong
would still
name.
like a written apology, please.
Right. Don't hold me to that.
No, but I've had to, you know, I've agreed to you coming out.
I've